Welcome back to Can I Quest That Line? I'm Ryan Rose.
I'm Nevin.
He doesn't have any nicknames today because he has to go to work. But here today, we are here to talk about a lot of our homebrew ideas that we've had and played with from our previous sessions. And maybe some you could add, some you could play with. Fuck around, find out. FAFO.
I can go first if you want.
Fun fact, we work together.
That's true. He doesn't work today. I work today.
I'm a bitch.
In 32 minutes.
Goop. Alright, yeah, kick us off.
Okay. So, should I do it in order of when I made them? Or
Nah, just fire them off.
my favorite? Okay, I'll do this first. This is Joey Lancaster, the Lightning Knight. Let me pull up my laptop here so I can actually read this
For our
stuff out
dedicated
to you.
viewers, you probably recognize Joey Lancaster from a previous episode. We did some foreshadowing there.
That was a different character. That was a character of mine, I think is what we did.
Do you have two guys named Lancaster?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
That was Lancaster Woodbine.
My bad. You're right. Comments are eating me alive.
Yep. Yeah, they'll remember for sure. They'll remember. No, this is a lightning night. So the setting was Muckraker Tower, which was a challenging magic tower. Every floor of the tower was a completely different environment. This one was the top of a stormy mountain, and they had to fight Joey Lancaster, the androgynous lightning knight. Which I based on an Eldritch Knight stat block that I found, but I edited a bunch of stuff, and then I gave him a Lightning Imp companion. The Imp has armor class of 13, 40 hit points. It could fly. It didn't do much damage, but its main action was a zap that could paralyze targets.
Okay.
And it also, I believe, I'll read out all the stuff for Joey Lancaster here. Armor class 17, hit points. I only gave him 100, which was foolish because that was done after like the first round. So I tripled his health immediately. I keep saying his, even though I made them androgynous because I'm a sexist pig, and I suck. Challenge rating 9 apparently. +3 to strength, +1 to dex, +2 to con, +3 to intelligence, 0 wisdom, 0 charisma. It could do Eldritch Strike. When the knight hits a creature with a weapon, that creature has disadvantage on its next spell save. Indomitable. The knight can re-roll any saving throw it fails. Second Wind, of course. It can regain 18 hit points, which was way too little. It should have regained way more than 18 hit points.
At best, that's like a hit off of someone.
Mm-hmm. And then you can also cast spells, so cantrips like Firebolt, Lightning Lure, which was fun, so you could lash them with lightning and then pull them towards you, and then attack with their greatsword or longsword.
I like that.
They also have Magic Missile and Shield at first level, Warding Wind and Shatter. Warding Wind I casted immediately, which was great because all the long range people couldn't do nearly as much.
Sorry, Warding Wind?
Yeah, it's a spell where you can. I just remember it gives ranged attacks disadvantage because it casts a bunch of wind around. So all the people, they couldn't get the lightning imp because he was flying and they had disadvantage. So it actually took them a while to kill the imp.
That's pretty good.
Warding Wind and Shatter, and then at third level Counterspell and Lightning Bolt. War Magic. If the knight casts a cantrip, it may make one weapon attack as a bonus action, which is really good for the Lightning Lure one.
I was about to say.
And so the main thing was the longsword, +7 to hit, 1d8 +3 slashing damage, plus 1d6 lightning damage, or 8 slashing damage plus the lightning damage if used with 2 hands, or 1d10 rather than 1d8.
Might be getting ahead of myself here, but does he have multi-attack?
Yes, I missed that. That's immediately up there. I also did a thing, the lightning damage, once the lightning imp, I didn't write this down, but when the lightning imp was felled, the lightning damage left the lightning knight's sword. So once
so
it
it blew
defeated
up?
the imp, he just lost the bonus 1d6 lightning damage.
Okay.
But I remember that fight was really good, especially because of the imp casting paralyze on people, the warding wind, preventing range. So they had some challenges they had to think about and overcome.
That's a nice like all rounder to cover your bases.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. This was the session, the Muckracker Tower session. Maybe we should just do a session where I talk about every encounter in the Muckracker Tower. 'Cause that was my favorite one, and a lot of people's favorite session.
I've heard a lot of stories of Muckracker.
Muckracker. I don't know what it is. It was a song name, and I was like, that's a good word. I'll use that.
I've heard a lot of stories about this Cracker Tower.
That's our apartment building we're in right now. Yeah, so that was a homebrew I did there, and I'll let you take it over with yours now.
Sweet, yeah. So I have a couple. I think we'll start off with one of my favorite characters I've ever played. He was completely based off of Krieger from Archer. I should have made him I think I should have made him like a chemist or an artillerist, but in the end, Krieger is good at everything, so I just made him a battlesmith. However, I did want to lean into the gunsmithing capability, and so me and my DM came up with some very nice homebrew mechanics for a repeater and a revolver that Krieger could make, and he had to go get all the materials for it, buy all the stuff to make it and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for example, he started off with the creeping Krieger 22, which was a revolver. It required a barrel, trigger, holster, and a cylinder, and it had a range of 0 to 40, disadvantage outside of that. It uses int modifier, and I could also get a silencer for it, which was limited the range by a bit, but could make it very hush hush.
Yeah.
Also, we for longer range, we came up with the Crawling Krieger 43, the CK repeater. And the components for this was a stock cartridge, barrel, gears, trigger, sight, and a pin. And that was pretty damn pricey.
Yeah, did you have to go to stores to get that stuff and buy it, or craft it yourself, or find it, or all the above?
So pretty much it was there was an NPC whose name has left my mind, but I remember he was a very fat Italian fellow who was a pro artificer himself and was kind of like my hookup, and we did a lot of jobs for him. And so I would come to him with like metal scraps and stuff, and then a cost, and he would help me convert it and kind of teach me how to do it.
Some infernal iron.
But in total, the Crawling Krieger repeater cost me about $5,000. It was a lot of money. It took a few sessions to get.
It's like a used car.
It was like a used car, and it sure did hit like one. The range on it was 50 to 120 feet, so it was definitely for long range. Didn't want to use it outside of that. Had a +2 to hit. It was a D10 plus my intelligence. I don't know if I mentioned, but the revolver was a D8. We made a fun little gimmick where on ones it jammed for the current turn.
Nice.
And the next turn,
Mm-hmm.
which seems pretty bad. However, twos jam on the current turn. It crits on 19s for 1.5 damage, and natural crits gave an elemental crit, so it gave a bonus damage, and I'd roll a d4, whether it was force, cold, fire, or lightning damage, and that would be like another d4, 6 damage or something like that.
Magic guns are sick.
Magic guns are sick. It was a lot of fun, especially for my favorite part here. We came up with special ammunition. This ranged from the revolver, for example, had armor piercing, detonator round, and my favorite, cat laced rounds. Put your enemy in the K-hole.
Literal trank darts.
Literal trank darts. So yeah, the Ketleast basically poisoned the target. The detonator rounds were a lot of fun. It would hit a target, and on my choosing, it lasted. It was pretty much indefinite for how long I can like wait to pull it off. But until I can use my bonus action to hit a detonator, then it would blow up for 2d8 damage in a 5-foot radius. So it's really nice for like hitting a target, and then if they went invisible or they started running away, boom, that just blew up.
That's cool. I just realized these pants, I had my mom stitch them over Christmas. See these giant gashes? This new hole just like appeared already.
See, and that leads me to my armor piercing round, which what looks like Nevin got hit with. This one has a +5 for attack rolls, so it gave my my gun a like a +6 or something, in addition to my proficiency, which is really nice for those like big harder to hit monsters that I couldn't really hit. And then of course for the repeater we had tracker rounds, which were great for if there was someone that was like invisible or wanted to go invisible. Put a tracker on them, and now they start to glow, and you can track them that way. Heavy caliber, pretty much just did if I'm not mistaken, yeah, heavy caliber was just a D12 damage, so just like a little bit more damage, which was nice. Hollow tips were a lot of fun. Hollow tips was the same D10 damage, however, it could pierce enemies and go through a straight line. So if there's a nice 3 enemies lined up, I could hit all 3.
Yeah.
It was a bonus action to load in these shots. However, because I was an artificer and I was being cheeky about it, I put I believe it was repeating shot on this, which ignores the loading property. So it was just like super quick, loaded in.
Is that like an artificer actual thing, or is
it's
that
an actual artificer actual thing? Yes. And the last couple was the explosive round, which was very similar to the detonator round, except it was just on impact, which gave a 1d8 damage for a 10-foot radius, a bit bigger than the revolver. And last but not least, another favorite of mine was the magnetic rounds. Magnetic rounds basically ignored any kind of cover. As long as I had some sort of sight or saw them in the last round, it would just bend around and hit the target.
Cool. Magic missile bullet.
Magic missile bullet.
Very fun.
Yeah, I'll hand it back to you.
I was just gonna ask, those bullets, did you just again buy them from your Connect? Or did you?
Yeah, that one was just straight through my Connect. I didn't have any process of actually making those.
Yeah.
And I also had my DM, just to keep things like a little bit fair, my DM gave me a bandolier that I wore, and it had like a certain amount of special ammunition that it could hold at a given time. So I couldn't just like, I have like this big, like I'm never using actual normal bullets.
Yeah.
I like a set amount that it could like burn through.
Cool.
Which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, like max of 3 of certain kinds and stuff.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. My next one is another, this was a boss fight I hyped up for like a session. The great Reginald Blacklung Stump Knocker. He was the champion of this arena in this like corrupt dwarven city. Basically, you could go in and challenge him, but he was like undefeated and never lost. It was 5-on-1, I think. It was five players against Reginald. But what level were they? They must have been 5th level, I guess, because I said challenge rating 5. But he has abilities, which I'll get to in a minute, that even the fight out. His initiative was so bad, he was at the bottom of the thing. He was basically done after like the first round again, because like he just got like destroyed by the barbarian, and then like status effect by the wizard and stuff like that.
That's why I don't allow barbarians. I know comments are gonna eat me alive for that, but
that's a good homebrew
barbarians.
rule you could talk about.
I'll get to that, yeah.
There's just no barbarians.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll shit on barbarians.
All right. So Reginald Stump Knocker is a dwarf. His nickname was Blacklung because of his great pipe. So his actions were...
Sorry, one more time?
His great pipe. Instead of
Okay,
a
I
great
heard that correctly.
a
Okay.
great hammer or
A
a
great
great
pipe.
axe, he had a great pipe. So it was basically a great hammer. There's one flat end and one end that was a bowl, and then it would go down the stem, and he would smoke the pipe. What's his name?
Like from the guy from Hunter x
Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah, exactly right. So it was based on this character from Hunter x Hunter who, again, could smoke his pipe, and then he could make smoke clones. So I'll get to that. The Great Pipe is a melee weapon attack, +7 to hit, reach of 5 feet. It does 1d10 plus floor bludgeoning damage. So he could either attack twice with his Great Pipe or attack twice with his Great Bowl, which was basically he blows into his pipe and shoots a ball of like fire out of the pipe,
That's sick.
doing 2d8 fire damage. +4 to hit, though. It's not nearly as accurate.
Sorry, so you can hit with the pipe twice or blow with the bolt?
Yeah.
Does the...
Or I forget how I did it. I think I might have done. You could either hit with the pipe twice or hit with the pipe and blow the bowl. I don't
Okay.
remember exactly. I didn't write it down.
Does the bowl have like range on it? Is it like
30
multi-target?
feet and just one target.
Oh, it's a ranged attack. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
So it's like shooting like a fire bolt, basically out of the pipe. But we'll get to his special thing. So these were his like layer actions, or legendary actions. Every round he got to do one of these. Reginald smokes a bowl at initiative 20, beginning after his first turn. So they've like murked him, and then he got like to smoke. He got to do his turn and smoke his bowl. Red Herb, it heals 2d6 plus 3. Green Herb casts Fog and Fairy Fire on all players. DC 14 Dexterity save for 1 round. Violet Herb covers Reginald in a swirl of smoke, creating illusory double. DC 14 Investigation action to distinguish dispels once hit. White Herb creates 2 smoke sentries, which just like had like slightly modified bandit stats that act after Reginald. Gold Herb casts Misty Step on Reginald, and he had 2 legendary resistances. So my whole plan was, okay, first thing up, I create Fog, Cloud, and Fairy Fire so that he can see all of them in the fog and they can't see him. And then he gets, these other 2 minion guys who are out there. And then he's just like attacking from the smoke and stuff. Never happened. He just got like beat. I imagine it as they just like surrounded him and beat him to death. But he was like, oh no, wait, tried to smoke and died. So then afterwards they were like, that guy was a loser. Why was this guy champion? I was like, well, he had all these cool herbs he was gonna smoke, and he never got
I think
to.
that brings me to the best homebrew rule: double, hell, triple your monster's health whenever you please.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Some DMs talk about like not even making hit points. They just go until the fight feels good, and then they end it. And they're like,
Interesting.
And they're like, yeah, you guys have.
I have mixed
you guys
feelings
have
on
done
that, but I
I also-
understand
I
where
know.
it's coming from.
I also don't agree with it too closely. And yeah, that's it for Reginald Stumpknocker there.
I think that's a really cool character design, and with like, I'm kind of sad that he died so quick. I'm
Yeah.
sure you've been like a really cool boss fight.
You're telling me. Okay. I got another thing I can talk about after your turn too.
Yeah, so I believe the next thing I was going to talk about was, I only had 2 more. I'm going to save this one because I actually really like that one a lot. But so this one was more of a campaign idea I had not that long ago, and I ran with my party. It went very well, actually. They enjoyed it quite a lot. I wouldn't recommend it per se for new characters or for like new players that want to start getting into this. However, for veterans, it's a lot of fun, and for just like I don't know, medium. What's the middle class for like a veteran and a rookie?
Apprentice.
Yeah, this is pretty good for apprentices. But pretty much it was like a mystery or an
Novice? Sorry.
Novice, yeah, I think novice is good. But this campaign idea was for like it's pretty much like a mystery or amnesia campaign, where my party woke up in a cabin with a dead body. None of them had any memory of who they were, or what their class was, or even what their race was. And I added this thing called memory checks. Or sorry, it was not memory checks, it was recall checks. And so it'd be a raw roll and to see if you can recall something. And so, you look at your hands and like you look at your body, give me a recall check, or just like, in this case, like an obby check. And you can determine what your race is. Or you look around at your weapons and you like start to investigate. But your whole purpose was to like figure out your class and your ability and who you were. And then as they
cool.
Yeah, and as they did certain things, like in combat, for example, I'd be like, okay, just give me a recall check. And if they passed a recall check, I'm like, okay, you remember, you had this flashback of you running in the alley and some arrows being like, shot at you, and you do an evasion. So you remember how to do evasion, so you can add evasion to your tool set. And then like they keep piecing together bit by bit. And then first it started off as just their class, but then like, the more they played, the more they're like, oh, well, shit, I had this subclass, or I'm actually an arcane trickster rogue, or that kind of thing.
And you made all their characters beforehand?
Yeah,
like
I made it.
Yeah,
I made it all stat wise, and I assigned it accordingly to just like, oh, this guy has never played a cleric. I'm sure that'd be fun. This guy's never played this,
Cool. No barbarians?
No fucking okay, quick tangent. I know I'm gonna get flamed for this. I don't give a fuck. Me personally, I hate barbarians, okay? Because I don't think it's fair for a party when pretty much everyone else is squishy, unless you're playing like a fucking paladin and like a paladin barbarian and maybe a fighter, I guess.
Yeah.
For one person to have double an already extensive hit points because you're always in rage, and on top of that, you just bust out ridiculous damage, like just stupid damage. Because I know this is, I know people will be like, oh well, just like throw bigger monsters at them or like target them more. But then at a certain point, it's like now this guy's just feeling strictly targeted because every time there's a boss fight or like even just a combat fight, the biggest baddest motherfucker is always on their ass.
I'm just gonna spend 4 turns only attacking the barbarian.
Yeah, and if the big guy attacks anyone else, they're gonna get like one tapped or even halved in one hit because like I'm trying to burn through 200 HP rather than like 100 or 80 or something like that. I feel like it's just like, I don't want to do that, man. I'd rather everyone being on an equal playing field, and that way I can like, throw stuff at you and not worry about one tapping the wizard and just like, or getting a scratch on the barbarian.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was my quick tangent.
If it's balanced to do damage to a barbarian, it's going to do way more damage to everyone else. That's fair. That's why you got to do. I remember you called and complained like 2 years ago. I remember being in the library in Halifax. And I was like, oh yeah, just like, give them wisdom saving throws or intelligence saving throws. And you're like, that only stops it for a minute. And then I still got to attack them.
And then I forget a subclass. I think it was Path of Totem or something. But like, he couldn't be frightened. He couldn't be enchanted. So like, go fuck yourself.
Awesome.
You're resistant to like everything. Anyways, but yeah, that campaign of the Amnesia was a lot of fun. They got to learn like a bunch of new cool things, and it was a really good fun mystery.
Yeah.
Where at the end,
that's fun.
Spoiler alert! At the end, there's 2 bodies in the room, and one of them was just playing dead, and they got into
Saw,
and one of them got into the party got into a fight with one of the bodies. And what really happened was they tracked down this evil artificer down to this cabin because they found out that they were like memory wiping everyone, and they got shot with memory wipers, and then they had to like restart the whole fucking quest because they ain't got no memory.
Cool. Very nice. I have one more thing I could touch on to finish.
Yeah,
this is my favorite part about D&D. Anything. Is gambling mini games.
Oh.
So, what was it? So in this city, Lerwick, I remember I had a
Good name.
dude. Lerwick is like I've used that in multiple campaigns because I came up with that. I was like, that's a great city name, like the town name.
It's ironic because I had a city named Ludwig.
Oh, nice. Wick is just a good fancy word.
It really is.
But yeah, it was a there was a fishing contest where everybody gets 3 casts and you roll a d20 and then you get to add your like dexterity or sleight of hand or something.
Okay.
Nature, I think it probably was. And depending on what you got, it was like different fish. So like if you got a DC 10, you got a sunfish. If it was like a 12, it was a trout. A pike was a 18, and then a golden sturgeon was a DC 20, and it was like worth 500 gold. I don't think anybody caught that. And then if you got like DC other lower than 8, it was just a piece of junk, and I rolled on the junk table, so you could get a moldy wooden bucket, like a waterlogged book. It was pretty funny, but in that corrupt dwarven city, I made a Tobino's Casino.
Tobino's Casino.
Which had 3 games. It had Stones, which is a game where everyone sits in a circle. You all roll. You put in like 10 gold. You roll 4d6, add it up. Highest number wins. If you choose, you can buy in again. So you put in 10. You roll. You don't like your roll. You put in another 10, and then you drop a dice. So you can roll 3d6 to try to beat the other person's roll who had 4d6, and then you can just do that back and forth until everyone's like, okay, I'm out, and then the highest number gets the pot. It's actually like it's really easy. I put it in every fucking every tavern there is because it's just like a fun gambling game. I also made slots, which 5 gold pieces, increments up to 20 gold pieces per spin. So you could either do like 5, 10, 15, or 20. If you get, and then you just roll 3 d6s. If you get 2 of any number, you get that number back in gold. So if you roll like 5, 6, and 6, you get like 6 back because you got 2 6s. The same as if you got 2 1s, you'd get 1 gold. If you got 2 2s, you get 2 gold back. So you'd like usually lose money. If you got 3 of any number, you return 10 times that number. So if you got 3 1s, you'd get 10. If you got 3 6s, you get 60. And then if the player won, they had to make a DC 14 Wisdom save to stop gambling.
I love that.
So if they wanted to leave, I'd be like, okay, roll, and they'd fail, and they'd have to keep going until they won again, and then they could re-roll.
Can't end on a loss.
Yeah, exactly. And then I also made Mega Roulette, which I forget. It was you just roll a D100. You can bet on any number you want. Even is black, odd is red. If it ends in a 0, it's the house. It's like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. It was basically like a 1 in 10 chance the house wins. And then, like, what is that? 45, 45 if you pick like black or red.
Okay.
And that was it. Yeah, just some fun gambling stuff that I made.
I like those.
Everything I do, it ends up, I'm always like, how can I make this a game? I remember I had another idea with like increasing dice, like a D4, D6, a D8, like similar to the Stones game, but I don't remember. Anything you want to touch on quickly? I think we have like 4 minutes left.
Yeah, I really like that the wisdom saving throw. That's so funny.
So one of Katie, one of my players, she got stuck there for a while. She could not break.
Katie, stop! You're already halfway through a party gold.
Yeah, exactly. I think did she do well? I forget. Somebody left with like a couple hundred extra gold. It was like good.
The last thing I want to touch on was my longest campaign that I've done, which was like 2.5, maybe even 3 years. Broke it up into 2 seasons. The end of the first season, which was like their big baddie, which was his name was Damikos. He was a warlock tiefling, and his goal, pretty much, long story short, was to have these like night spheres. And so he had this like ball, like this magical ball, and it basically like it made like it was like a mile radius sphere of just pure darkness, so that all like the sunlight sensitivity people who lived in the Underdark could come up and just enjoy like the bountifulness of the land.
Like that one city in Invincible. You know what I'm talking about?
Vaguely.
Where Darkwing like went crazy.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good reference. Yeah, like that. So pretty much he was doing all
King
that.
of the references.
And for the final boss fight, long story short, I gave him some very homebrew mechanics that I was very fond of, and very specifically to fuck with my barbarian. Okay, fuck the barbarian.
He's a hateful man.
So I gave him a Blood Moon Scythe. It had a plus. Okay, keep in mind they were very high level at this point. It had a plus 16 to hit, 2d10 plus 6 slashing damage, and it adds a tag on hit. Roll a 1d6. On a 6, adds a forced fail on the next spell save.
Damn.
Yeah, so if you get like critted, then you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get out of range. just run away.
And then he had 2 special moves, which required charges, and this thing had 8 charges. The first one was a crescent sweep, required 1 charge. He had this big ass blood moon like in the center of the map that was like fueling his scythe, and every time he used a charge, like the moon would like become from full to like maybe waning or I don't know the moon cycles very well, but it'd keep like depleting into his blade. Really cool visuals, I must say. It was pretty spectacular. Anyways, it had a 20-foot radius AoE. It had plus 12 to hit and a d8 force damage. Anyone hit gets drawn 5 feet closer to Damokos. So it's nice just for like, getting everyone closer and closer, and just for, easy like take damage for everybody. And he could release, there's a Crescent Sweep release, which was like very similar to the original Crescent Sweep. All damage dealt to enemies is added, and then add percent. That percent is that do nothing. Okay, this one was weird, but also for that D8, all the damage it gets added. So maybe if I get 3, that's 3d8, and then that would be taken off of like an AoE percentage of health. It was pretty fucked. I'm not gonna lie. But I forget the exact math I had, but it was like, well, there goes 16% of your health off rip.
Damn.
And then I believe so I had, that was like the scythe in and of itself, but he also had 2 other special moves. One of them did not work very well, I must say. I needed to practice it a bit more, but I tried to make a mini game in and of itself. So this one's called Blood Winds. Set up a free reaction each time a creature moves 15 feet towards Damokos, triggers Blood Wind. So basically, if they wanted to actually get close to him and do damage, then he would activate this. And I wanted it to be like basically a rock, paper, scissors type deal, where he would either throw like high, mid, low on this like AoE sweep, and you had to roll like the opposite to like, not get hit by it and get blown back like 10, 15 feet.
Mm-hmm.
That was giving me the eyes that were running out of time.
I need to catch a train, bro.
And I'll just wrap it up super quick. This one was specifically to fuck with my barbarian.
Okay, yeah.
And it did, I'll tell you that much. This one's called Twilight Transition, required 3 charges from the moon. Any creature tagged by the original Blood Scythe, any creature tagged has their current HP swapped with the person closest to them in a clockwise manner. When concentration is broken on this, all current HPs are swapped back. So I'd give the barbarian's health to the wizard. And since he doesn't have rage, I'd beat the shit out of the wizard. And then when the concentration's up, the barbarian now has like maybe 100 health or 50 health. That I can work with.
Nice. And you said that didn't work too well? Or
No,
was
it
that
did.
the other one?
No, this one worked very well. The rock, paper, scissors type deal did not work very well.
Yeah.
Because I just did
Okay.
not have enough practice with it. I'd like slide, dodge, jump. But anyways,
Yeah. I like that last one. That's good.
yeah, that one was a lot of fun.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you for watching. I got to go to work.